It was a quiet, overcast morning at my lake cabin. The mist hovered over the water, giving everything an eerie, almost surreal calm. My wife had just moved in permanently, organizing the cabin and setting up her workspace, unaware that Karen had already decided this would be her next battlefield. Within minutes, Karen appeared at the property line, her signature fury blazing across her face. She had brought her usual arsenal: papers, clipboards, and a voice capable of shattering glass. But this time she had a new target: my wife. Karen had seen her enter the cabin and immediately called the police, claiming trespassing and illegal occupancy. By the time I arrived, Karen was mid-scream, pacing back and forth like a caged lion. "You can't live here. This cabin is under HOA rules. I'm calling the cops," she shrieked. Her voice carried across the water, disturbing the peace like a storm. My wife stepped to the door, calm and composed, showing the officers her identification. "This is our property," she said. "We have full legal ownership and occupancy rights. Please, check the records before taking any action." Karen froze. For the first time, she was confronted not by words, but by undeniable evidence. She flailed, waving papers, screaming, "I'm HOA. You can't do this. Arrest her." The deputies glanced at each other, unsure how to respond to the chaos, but they did their job professionally. They checked the property records, the deeds, and my wife's identification. Then they turned to Karen. "Ma'am," one officer said firmly, "you are trespassing and making false claims about HOA authority. She is legally allowed to occupy this property. You need to leave immediately." Karen's face went pale, but her fury only grew. She stomped, flailed, and tried one last tactic, threatening to sue, claiming she had connections, and that the police would be forced to comply. But this time, reality hit hard. The officers didn't flinch. My wife, steady and commanding, stood her ground. The calm authority she radiated left Karen speechless. Then came the final blow. My wife, a decorated military officer, calmly introduced her credentials to the deputies. Their eyes widened slightly, not in disbelief, but in recognition. Karen's tantrums, threats, and theatrics had met real authority, tactical knowledge, and unwavering composure. Karen's face contorted in a mixture of shock, anger, and disbelief. She had underestimated my wife, misjudged the law, and entirely overestimated her own importance. Every scream, every threat, every wild gesture fell flat. The deputies escorted her off the property. Karen continued to mutter about injustice and retaliation, but it was empty noise, lost in the mist over the lake. She had expected fear, compliance, and chaos, but she had received calm, preparation, and authority instead. After the chaos subsided, my wife and I walked along the shoreline. The cabin stood intact, the property secure, and the lake calm once again. The mist began to lift, revealing the golden light of late morning. Karen's rage, her entitlement, and her absurd sense of authority had been neutralized completely. That day, we realized something profound. Arrogance and bluster can escalate, but they will always crumble when met with preparation, law, and real authority. Karen had tried to assert control over our lives, over our property, over someone she didn't even know, but she had failed spectacularly. We spent the rest of the day securing the property further, ensuring that every gate, every lock, every possible access point was reinforced. It wasn't paranoia, it was preparation. Karen might return, but she would never succeed. As the sun finally broke through the clouds, reflecting off the calm lake, I couldn't help but feel a deep sense of satisfaction. The cabin was ours, my wife was safe, and Karen, once again, had been humbled by reality, authority, and competence. Some people escalate. Some people scream and threaten. Karen did all of that. But some people, like my wife, respond with calm, preparation, and unwavering authority. And in the end, that's the side that always wins.